Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
TJ Houshmandzadeh has really left much to be desired over the last couple of seasons. He struggled with the Bengals. Obviously, they didn't have Carlson the last year that he was with that team, so you could understand the drop-off in his production. He had a decent amount of catches that year, but he was still under 1,000 yards, low yard per catch average. Never been the greatest in that area, but still it was very low. I think it was actually under 10 yards a catch that year. Coming into Seattle, I held out a lot more hope for him. I did know that the Seahawks had a shaky offensive line, but I just thought that with this team, here's a guy that should get closer to 100 balls this year and have a bounce-back season. That obviously did not happen. He still had, just barely over 900 yards receiving again and a low touchdown total. This was a guy that, remember, in 2007, he posted 12 touchdowns, and I believe he had 9 touchdowns in 2006. So we were seeing a good touchdown total from this guy. He's got good, decent size, but he's just not getting it done. This offseason, he has hernia surgery. He's recovering well from that. He's actually back in OTAs, it looks like, and he'll be a full go for training camp. That's great news. Once he had the surgery, we really didn't know how he was going to recover from that injury. That's an injury that can take a while, and you can have some setbacks with something like that, obviously, when you're cutting and running and pulling on that area of your body all the time. But so far, so good. For Hoosh right now, it's going to be really hard to look at him and say, yeah, there's a guy you need to put on your starting lineup. I would say right now, if you're in a deep league that demands that you start 3 wide receivers, this is definitely a guy that you'd take a look at for your third option. Other than that, you're probably going to want him as just nice depth on your team to start the season, and he's a viable option. You can use him as long as he's still healthy and out there producing. This offense should be a little bit better overall, I think, but with Houshmandzadeh, I don't know if he's ever going to get back to being the kind of player he was back in maybe the 05 to 07 run that he had going there, as now he's getting closer. I think he's 33, 34 years old now. He's getting into that point in his career where he is slowing down and his numbers are slowing down. So keep those things in mind. He is good depth for your team, but you really don't want to have him for a starter.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy football.